Welcome. This training will cover the legal requirements of reported suspected abuse of dependent adults and seniors. In this presentation, we will define who are mandated reporters, who is protected under the law, what activities constitute abuse, how reports are to be submitted, and the legal consequences for failing to report suspected abuse. California law requires employees and volunteers of state-licensed organizations to report known or suspected abuse of dependent elders and adults. Agape Home Care is licensed by the Home Care Services Bureau, a division of California's Department of Social Services, and as a registered home care aide associated with this agency, you are a mandated reporter. Elder means any person who is 65 years of age or older. Dependent adult means any person between the age of 18 and 64 who has physical or mental limitations that restrict his or her ability to carry out normal activities or to protect his or her own rights, including, but not limited to, persons who have physical or developmental disabilities or whose physical or mental abilities have diminished because of age, and those requiring 24-hour supervised care. Abuse is defined as follows. 1. Physical abuse. That would include assault, battery, unreasonable constraint, or prolonged denial of food and water, any form of sexual assault, including lewd and lascivious acts, physical or chemical restraint as punishment or by administering medications beyond their prescribed use. 2. Causing serious bodily injury. That would be resulting in great pain, physical harm, risk of death, or requiring medical attention. 3. Neglect. That would include negligence in providing reasonable care, food, shelter, clothing, personal hygiene care, medical care for physical or mental health needs, failure to protect from health or safety hazards, failure to prevent malnutrition or dehydration, failure to protect an individual from self-neglect or harm due to poor mental or physical health or substance abuse. 4. Financial abuse. That would include taking, appropriating, obtaining, or retaining real or personal property, which would include houses, lands, money, information, possessions, or medications, for a wrongful use or with intent to defraud or to assist anyone in such financial abuse, either by theft or through undue influence. 5. Abandonment. That would include desertion or willfully forsaking by anyone having care or custody of that person under circumstances in which a reasonable person would continue to provide care and custody. 6. Isolation. That would include preventing from receiving mail, telephone calls, or visitations contrary to the expressed wishes of that person by means of false representation, imprisonment, or physical restraint. And finally, 7. Abduction. That would be to remove an individual from or restraining them from returning to this state without their consent, approval, or authorization, either from themselves or from their custodial representative. Report suspected abuse as follows. 1. Immediately notify administrative personnel, the executive director, of the incident. 2. Complete the Report of Suspected Dependent Elder or Adult Abuse Form, SOC 341. 3. Submit this form to Adult Protective Services as soon as possible, within 2 business days of the incident. Of course, if it's an emergency, call 911 immediately. 4. Provide a copy of this form to the administrative office personnel to be retained in your file. Adult Protective Services office is located at 808 E Street in Eureka, California. Their phone number is 707-476-2100. The Report of Suspected Dependent Elder and Adult Abuse Form can be obtained at Adult Protective Services, at the Agape Home Care Administrative Office, or downloaded off of our website on our resources page. Failure to report abuse of an elder or dependent adult is a misdemeanor crime. It's punishable by jail time up to 6 months or 1 year if failure to report results in death or great bodily injury. A fine up to $1,000 or $5,000 if failure to report results in death or great bodily injury, or both. Reporting duties and responsibilities are up to the individual, and no supervisor or administrator shall impede or inhibit the reporting of duties, and no person making the report shall be subject to any sanction for making the report. This training provided an overview of reporting suspected abuse of dependent elders and seniors. We've defined who are mandated reporters, who is protected, what activities constitute abuse, how reports are to be submitted, and the legal consequences for failing to report. Any questions about the contents or application of this training can be directed to our administrative personnel, executive director, that would be myself. Thank you for watching.